Chapter 13. A Council of Crisis. Refreshed from a night of deep rest and focused meditation, Otnam awoke with a sense of purpose. The lingering weariness from the river journey had dissipated, replaced by a quiet resolve. He broke his fast with a simple, yet hearty meal: warm bread, local cheese, and a cup of invigorating herbal tea. The warmth spread through him, preparing his body for the day's demands. Following the meal, the luxury of a hot bath awaited, washing away not only the physical grime of travel but also the subtle anxieties that often clung to the newly crowned. Clad in clean, freshly laundered attire, Otnam felt a renewed sense of dignity and readiness. He then ventured out into the waking city. Otnam entered the Grand Merchants' Guild Hall. An undercurrent of unease filled the air. Merchants buzzed with frustration over the blood tide's impact. Councilman Thorn, chairman of the Committee of Defense, sat at the head of the table, his brow furrowed. Councilwoman Sarah, from the Committee of Trade and Resources, observed keenly. Diplomatic advisor Justin Allen offered a curt nod, and High Commander Lyra Stormwind stood behind Otnam's seat, ready to advise. Otnam strode to the central seat. The room quieted. "Thank you all for coming," Otnam began, his voice resonating. "I am Otnam, now ruler of Amaranthan, Stoneheart, and the surrounding lands. I will hear your problems, starting with the largest merchant guild." Palpable hush fell. Thorn's eyes widened as he exchanged looks with the other councilor members. It seemed he had been the last to be informed this time. Sarah exchanged a quick glance and nodded. The merchants froze, surprised by Otnam's declaration of rulership. Otnam gestured to the front row. "Now, with introductions aside, let us turn to the matters at hand. State your name and the challenges you face." A portly man nervously adjusted his tunic. "Before we begin," Otnam added, "I have increased patrols along merchant roads, bolstered our naval strength under Captain Elena Stormwind and Captain Rorik Ruzian, and we will establish a teleportation link to Stoneheart for easier trade. A modest tax will be levied on its use for continuous operation and equitable access." Master Alara of the Guild of Inland Traders bowed. "I am Alara, representing the Guild of Inland Traders, dealing in overland routes. Your pronouncements are welcome. However, our primary concern is the blood tide's insidious tactics along overland routes to the freeholds. They undercut our prices with stolen goods, bribe officials to impose tariffs, and spread rumors of our instability. We are losing business and livelihood without direct combat. I have sent a delegation to the freeholds requesting a meeting here," Otnam stated. "Until then, no trade to the freeholds. Focus on sales in Amaranthan, Stoneheart, and our surrounding lands. This will show the freeholds not to buy stolen goods, crashing their market and pushing them to talks. It will also reduce the blood tide's gold from caravan robberies." "No trade to the freeholds?" Alara whispered. Otnam's gaze was unwavering. "Indeed, until their leaders meet with us and we reach a mutual understanding, all trade towards the freehold ceases. Concentrate your efforts on our secured territories. Your legitimate routes will be safer, and profits will stabilize, if not increase. This is a lesson for the freeholds and a blow to the blood tide's coffers." Thorn and Justin Allen exchanged approving glances. Alara, after internal debate, bowed. "As you command, Your Highness. We shall adjust our routes accordingly." "Thank you, Alara," Otnam said. "Next, present your case." Madame Verena, head of the Guild of Artisans and Craftsmakers, stepped forward. "While Master Alara's concerns are valid, our guild faces a different assault. The blood tide is actively buying up raw materials, rare woods, specific ores, exotic dyes, at inflated prices directly from historical sources. This drives up our production costs and ensures only they can produce high-demand luxury items. We cannot compete. This will partly resolve itself," Otnam replied. "As the blood tide's funding slows and they lose ground, their ability to corner resources will diminish. Tell me, from which regions do you get these supplies?" Madame Verena replied, "Darkheart ebony from the Whisperwood Reach, north of the Serpent River. Iron and metals from the sunken mines of the Dragon's Tooth Mountains, west of the Whisperwoods. Exotic dyes from the marshy lowlands of the Dead Man's Fun. All are territories the blood tide now heavily influences or controls, making trade perilous. Who currently controls Whisperwood and the surrounding regions? Otnam asked, acknowledging his newness to the lands. Councilman Thorne explained, the Whisperwood Reach, while nominally independent, is a haven for druids and minor lordlings. The blood tide has established fortified logging camps and outposts there, controlling its resources. Diplomatic advisor Justin Allen added, the Dragon's Tooth Mountains, home to the sunken mines, are rugged. Historically, nomadic dwarf clans and prospectors claimed them. The largest dwarven hold is Khazad-dûm, but we've had no word from them in some time. The blood tide has brought several clans under their banner, securing many mines. The Dead Man's Fun, Thorne grimaced, is inhospitable. No one owns it. It's always been home to isolated communities and dangerous creatures. The blood tide exploits its lawlessness as a clandestine transit point and base for unsavory operations. Madame Verena, please stay until last to continue this conversation, Otnam directed. This is troubling, and I will consider additional action after hearing the other merchants. Next, please state your concern. Madame Verena bowed stiffly and moved beside Thorne. Master Geralt of the Guild of Provisioners stepped forward. I am Master Geralt, representing the city's food and essential supplies. Our concerns are fundamental. The blood tide targets farmlands and fishing villages along the southern river, crucial to Amaranthan's food supply. They extort protection money, raid grain stores, and intimidate fishermen. This forces many to abandon livelihoods or sell to blood tide agents at unfair prices. Food prices are climbing, threatening famine and unrest. High Commander Lyra and Councilman Thorne, Otnam commanded, send troop detachments to all villages Master Geralt supplies. Have them build palisade walls, trenches, and spikes, leaving units to defend and train local militias. What of the land surrounding Amaranthan? Master Geralt's eyes widened with relief. Thorne began making notes, and Lyra nodded sharply. Consider it done, Your Highness, Lyra stated. Troop detachments will secure villages, oversee defenses, and train locals. Garrison forces will ensure continued security. The immediate perimeter, about 5 miles, is crown land for cultivation, Thorne interjected. Beyond that, it's a patchwork of independent farming estates, vital for our sustenance. I want to increase yield, Otnam declared. Find talented farmers for research on crown land to increase yields and teach at our schools. Establish a farming body to help farmers. Expand patrol areas only to what can be maintained and secured. Thorne's eyes lit up. An inspired initiative. I will oversee a guild of agrarian scholars and practitioners and a farmers' cooperative to disseminate best practices. Justin Allen approved. Investing in agricultural self-sufficiency is a long-term strategic advantage. It shall be prioritized. Master Finn of the Guild of Jewelers, Silversmiths, and Precious Metal Workers stepped forward. I am Master Finn. Our issue is trust and reputation. The blood tide floods markets with counterfeit Amaranthan coinage and shoddy precious metal goods, eroding faith in our currency and damaging our craftsmanship's reputation. Our customers grow wary, and legitimate coin diminishes. Is that all? Otnam asked. From now on, all Amaranthan products will be stamped with a new maker's mark. Have your finest metalworkers compete to design it. The best will represent all future products. This new mark will make counterfeiting impossible for a while, and the longer things drag on, the worse off the blood tide will be. Master Finn's eyes widened. Indeed, a swift and elegant solution, a new unified maker's mark would thwart current counterfeiting efforts. Otnam leaned forward. Precisely. This isn't merely about preventing counterfeits. It's about forging an identity, a symbol of quality that even the blood tide cannot debase. The longer this struggle continues, the more their deceptive tactics will crumble under our unwavering integrity. Thorne nodded vigorously. A brilliant stroke. It protects our economy, galvanizes artisans, and reinforces Amaranthan's reputation. Madame Verena offered a curt nod. Lady Seraphina, of the Guild of Entertainers and Informants, glided forward. Greetings, Your Highness. Our troubles are less tangible but no less vital. The blood tides agents undermine our markets and the morale of our populace. They seed dissent, spread rumors of conquest, and corrupt bards to sing songs of despair. Our stages are quieter, taverns less jovial, and unease hangs over our vibrant city. We are yet to tell the people of our alliance with Stoneheart, Otnam mused. If we held a celebration in the center of Amaranthan with some of the Stoneheart leadership, would your best bards and performers be able to do the show? And would this lift spirits? All attendees could see the city rebuilding and improving. Lady Seraphina's eyes widened. Your Highness, that is precisely the inspiration we need. A grand celebration, a public declaration of the Stoneheart Alliance, with their leadership present. It would mend even the most disheartened spirits. Our bards would eagerly spin tales and our performers weave dances of unity and strength, showcasing Amaranthan's resilience and our new partnership. It would transform apprehension into a defiant celebration of our collective future. Then see it done, Otnam commanded. The other guilds will help, and the crown will provide funds. Lady Seraphina beamed. Consider it done, Your Highness. We shall orchestrate a celebration that will echo through the ages and restore Amaranthan's vibrancy. She bowed deeply. Master Kalen, of the Scribes and Cartographers Guild, hesitantly stepped forward. I am Master Kalen. Our concern is information, or rather, the lack thereof and the deliberate misinformation being spread. Reporters, recorders, and spies. Otnam chuckled. Are you good at your job? Master Kalen blinked, then smiled faintly. Indeed, Your Highness. Our scribes record history and decrees. Our cartographers map lands. Our discreet members excel at gathering intelligence. Our concern stems from the Blood Tide's sophisticated misinformation campaign, and countering it requires deliberate action. Explain their campaign and what you propose to counter it, Otnam said. Master Kalen nodded. Their campaign is multifaceted. They twist facts, omit details, and sow doubt. They exaggerate skirmishes into defeats, portray tariffs as oppressive, and fabricate documents and maps to demoralize border communities and confuse merchants. We propose a three-pronged approach, Kalen continued. Firstly, a highly visible and accurate royal gazette to publish true accounts, decrees, and alliance benefits. Secondly, we need to actively collect and analyze their propaganda to preemptively counter falsehoods, requiring a dedicated network of discreet agents. Thirdly, working with Lady Seraphina's guild, we can craft counter-narratives, stories, plays, and songs that champion our truth, highlight the Blood Tide's perfidy, and celebrate Amaranthan and Stoneheart's unity and strength. Accurate information is our most potent weapon. Fair, Otnam conceded. My thoughts. The future is built on thoughts, ideas, hope, and dreams. History is recorded after it happens. I want a national archive, open to all citizens, to record accurate history. If acceptable, you can have your Amaranthan Gazette. History needs an accurate record, as the Gazette, while useful, may not always be the whole truth. Secondly, I want to hire your guild spies to work exclusively with me, actively collecting information on Blood Tide propaganda and other intelligence. Thirdly, Lady Seraphina's guild will happily help. Does this sound adequate? Master Kalen listened intently. A national archive, open to all citizens, he mused. A visionary undertaking. A repository of unvarnished history would be invaluable. We would be honored to oversee its creation. The Amaranthan Gazette can then swiftly disseminate current truths, while the archive preserves our deeper story. Placing our discreet agents under your direct command, focusing on Blood Tide propaganda and intelligence, would streamline our efforts and provide a clearer, more effective counter. It sounds eminently adequate, Your Highness. With your foresight and resources, we believe we can effectively combat this war of whispers and reclaim the narrative for Amaranthan. Lady Seraphina offered an enthusiastic nod. The Scribes and Cartographers Guild had found their new purpose. If that is all the guilds? Otnam asked. We will return to Madame Verena's issue. Verena, please step forward again. Thorn, Justin, any word when the delegation from the freeholds will arrive? Otnam surveyed the assembly. If that concludes the grievances of the other guilds, then we shall return to Madame Verena's earlier, more complex issue. Madame Verena stepped forward once more. Otnam turned to the counselors. Thorn, Justin, he queried. Have we received any word regarding the delegation sent to the freeholds? When can we expect their leaders to arrive in Amaranthan for our meeting? Diplomatic advisor Justin Allen consulted his notes. Our messengers are swift, Your Highness. We anticipate their arrival, should they accept, within 4 to 5 days. Thorn nodded. How long would it take us and Stoneheart to assemble a strong force, leaving enough behind to defend Amaranthan, the freeholds, and the surrounding lands? Otnam inquired. High Commander Lyra Stormwind calculated. To assemble a truly strong, coordinated force, capable of offensive action and robust defensive garrisons across Amaranthan, the freeholds, assuming cooperation, and Stoneheart territories, would take a minimum of 2 to 3 weeks. Rushing would compromise defenses. Never mind that then, Otnam said. How many could easily be assembled by the time the freeholds get here? I'm thinking smaller, more elite, including hired adventurers, the vanguard, if it doesn't weaken our defenses. Lyra's brow furrowed. A smaller, more elite force. Amaranthan could field 100 seasoned city guards without weakening out defenses. If Stoneheart could matches that, adventurers might add a handful to a dozen. We could even put out word for volunteers. If with recruit for your personal guard without saying what the mission is, I know men would fight for the chance after your display at the Eastern Gate. It would be a force for surgical strikes or reconnaissance, not direct confrontation with a large blood-tied army. Do it, Otnam commanded. Gather what forces we can in the city, but do not drain land guards or trainers. Maintain Amaranthan, Stoneheart, and the land's strength. Whatever the freehold's decision, I will then lead forces to Whisperwood, then Dragon's Tooth Mountains to meet with the dwarves. These lands will be brought under control, peacefully if possible, forcefully if necessary. For the Dead Man's Fawn, we will establish long-term outposts to bring law to the region. Madame Verena, Thorn, Lyra, Justin, thoughts? Lyra nodded sharply. Understood, Your Highness. A rapid assembly will commence, drawing from reserves. Amaranthan and Stoneheart's immediate security will remain uncompromising. Madame Verena stepped forward. Your Highness, this direct action in the Whisperwood and Dragon's Tooth is precisely what is needed to break the blood-tied stranglehold on our raw materials. Reclaiming those sources would revitalize our guilds immensely. Bringing law to the Dead Man's Fawn, while monumental, would secure countless resources. Thorn composed himself. This is a decisive and comprehensive strategy, Your Highness. The economic implications of reclaiming those resource-rich regions would be immense, striking a critical blow to the Blood-Tide's finances while bolstering our own. Order in the Fawn promises long-term stability. Justin Allen remained measured. The plan has merit, Your Highness. Taking the fight to their resource centers is strategically sound. However, each region presents unique challenges. Whisperwood's dense cover, Dragon's Tooth's treacherous terrain and entrenched dwarf clans, and the Fawn's environmental and magical dangers. Careful planning and superior intelligence are paramount. But yes, he concluded, it is a clear path forward.